This episode contains adult themes and is not appropriate for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, the world. This is They Will Kill, a true crime podcast. I am Courtney Eck.
And I'm Sadie Eck.
And we're sisters, and this is a murder zone, where all we do is talk about murder.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like being in the murder zone, welcome.
You've come to the right zone.
Come to the right zone. The temperature is always whatever you like it to be.
Kind of murdery.
Yeah. Murder... Fahrenheit? Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. Good try.
Intro business is for the birds. Yep. Anyway, I'll shut up and let Sadie take it away.
Tonight I'm going to tell you about the murder of the Spirit family.
Oh, boy.
A big warning for child abuse and child death.
Ugh.
And also a little warning, we're going to start by listening to a little 911 call. So if you're not interested, skip ahead 2 minutes, and we'll see you on the other side.
Wish us luck, guys. Wish me luck. I haven't heard this yet.
Gilchrist County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I just shot my daughter and shot all my grandkids, and I'll be sitting on my step, and when you get here, I'm going to shoot myself.
What is the address that you're at, sir?
2550 Northwest, 25 Terrace, Don Spirit. Every one of them are dead.
You said your name is Don Spirit?
Yep.
All right, Don, what kind of gun do you have?
It doesn't matter what kind of gun I got. They're all dead, and then when you get here, I'll shoot myself, and then you figure out what kind of gun it is.
How long ago did this happen, Don?
I don't want to hear it, man. I'm done with every fucking thing. Just bring the motherfuckers out here, that's all. You got all the kids are dead in the house.
Okay, how many people? Okay, how many people?
6 kids, 1 adult.
6 kids and 1 adult?
Yeah. One of them is a baby.
All right, Don. Is there any way you can stay on the phone with me till I get somebody there to help you?
What's that?
Can I have you stay on the phone with me?
No, not that. I'm waiting for them to get here. When they get here, I'm going to shoot myself on my back step. All I'm doing is waiting for them.
So you're sitting on your back steps?
Yep.
Okay, Don.
Oy, oy, oy. 6 children
6
and an adult.
Yes. Yeah. So at 4 p.m. on September 18th, 2014, in the tiny town of Bell, Florida, dispatchers received a 911 call from 51-year-old Don Spirit.
He's only 51.
51 years old.
Jesus.
He told them, quote, "I just shot my daughter and I shot all my grandkids. I'll be sitting on my steps. When you get here, I'm going to shoot myself." 9 minutes later, the first units from the Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office arrived and found Spirit pacing outside the family's green, single-wide trailer, unarmed, carrying what appeared to be a jug of water. As police arrived, Spirit told them, quote, "I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the Stewarts. Colleen Stewart has turned Sarah into a whore and drugs, and I'm fed up with the whole family, the Stewart family. They've ruined my family, they've ruined my life, and I'm just tired of them all, and I've taken care of it today."
Oh, my God.
Don Spirit then went behind his trailer and returned with a semi-automatic rifle. Before he could be stopped, he shot himself in the head and died instantly.
Wow.
The scene was impossible to imagine. Police found the body of 28-year-old Sarah Spirit outside the trailer, partially covered by a tarp. An autopsy would show, in addition to being shot in the head, she was stabbed 6 times and suffered blunt force trauma from being pistol whipped.
Jesus. That's his daughter, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
God.
Sarah's 6 children were found dead in various rooms inside the trailer. Caleb 11, Kylie 9, Jonathan 8, Destiny 5, Brandon 4, and Alana, who is just 3 months old. They'd all been shot to death by their grandfather.
What is happening?
What in the world could cause a man to kill his daughter and 6 of his grandchildren? It would come as no surprise that there was a long history of domestic violence and child abuse allegations surrounding this family.
Mm-mm.
Could these children's lives have been saved? Absolutely 100% yes.
Yeah, of course they could have, of course.
Don Spirit was born in 1962. Not much is known about his childhood. He married his wife, Christine Jeffers, and they had 3 children together. Their daughter, Sarah, was born in 1986. Son, Josh, was born in 1990. And their youngest, Kyle, was born a few years later in 1992. Don had a history of mental health issues, including bipolar disorder. He also had a lengthy criminal history spanning decades. From 1999 to 1996, he was arrested 13 times, with a mix of misdemeanors and felonies. The charges included aggravated battery, larceny, drug possession, a hit and run with injury, and depriving a child of food and shelter.
Jiminy Christmas.
The family eventually moved to Belle, Florida, with a population of less than 500 people.
Wow.
It's described as a nice, quiet agricultural community, the kind of place where if someone's house burns down, people set up a donation box right away to help.
Mm-hmm.
There are few jobs, though. Most of the good ones involve hauling rocks, sand, and logs. With his criminal history, it would be even harder than normal for Don to find a good job to support his family.
Mm-hmm.
On November 14th, 2001, Don took his sons, Josh and Kyle, on a hunting trip. While walking through the woods, Don pointed out some rust on the muzzle of his rifle. While the boys checked out the rust, the rifle fired, hitting Kyle in the head, killing him.
I was just about to say, I'm so nervous. Everything you're going to say in the story just makes me so nervous. And it was justified because that's fucking horrifying.
I know. It's one of those that it's just, relentless.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
I am strapped in.
I mean, not like our stories are ever full of joy, but
no,
this one's particularly rough.
Gee.
It was ruled an accident, but Don was a felon and was in possession of a firearm illegally during the accident. He was eventually sentenced to 3 years in prison for the offense. While awaiting sentencing, Don was arrested for domestic battery when he allegedly beat his wife, smashed the couple's phone, and, quote, busted all the windows out of her 2000 Chevy Blazer. He also snatched her hair, called her a bitch, and threatened to kill her, a police report said.
I just feel like I'm not at all a fan of the 3 strikes rule because it's bullshit and it always just targets people with nonviolent drug felonies. But after 13 or 14 or, when is the point where somebody like this gets incarcerated for good?
Right. Or even just for a lengthy period of time, or
yes.
Put into a mental health facility, or given some support so that, it's just
or
on
his
and
family
on and on.
given some support so
Right.
that they can adequately distance themselves from him, or
Right.
yeah, my God, man.
When police arrived, Christine defended her husband, quote, expressing concern for his mental state as a result of the hunting accident that killed his youngest son. She refused to give police a written statement, saying it would, quote, just make him more angry. Despite his violence toward her, Christine urged the court to be lenient on Don in the shooting death of Kyle, saying that he had not recovered from his son's death. Quote, the loss of our son has really taken a toll on him, and he blames himself every day, she wrote in a letter to the judge. She continues, quote, he had punished himself more than the court system ever could punish him. Since our son's death, my husband has been severely depressed. The doctors have not found a medication yet to help him. There is not a day that goes by that I don't catch him crying.
And I'm sure all of that's true and valid to a certain extent, but God damn it, if that's not just how women are as far as taking that caretaker role to a fault, let the guy suffer some consequences.
Big time.
Grief is one thing. Channeling that grief into domestic violence is completely unacceptable. It's a completely different thing.
Right. And it wasn't like the death of his son then caused him to lash out. He was doing this, from 90 to 96.
Precisely.
His son was killed in 2001.
Right.
This didn't just come out of, the trauma of the death of his son.
Right. And even if it had, still unacceptable, guys.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
But yes. Yeah.
Despite her initial support for Don, Christine filed for divorce while Don was in prison. Once out of prison, he planned to take custody of his surviving son, Josh. During the divorce, the couple argued over possessions, such as a jet ski and a camper, and in letters to her, Don clearly saw himself as the better parent.
Oh my God.
In December 2006, John was arrested again for battery. Court records say that Don became furious with his son, Joshua, when he saw the boy's friend wearing Joshua's jacket. Quote, Don Spirit called Josh a punk and began punching him in the face, a report said. Joshua Spirit suffered abrasions to his left eye, both sides of his neck, and his shoulder blade, a Gilchrist County Sheriff's deputy wrote. The charges against Don were later dropped. Don's oldest daughter, Sarah, was 15 at the time of her brother Kyle's death. At 17, Sarah became pregnant with her first child, Caleb. By the time her father was released from prison, she had already had 2 more children, Kylie and Jonathan.
Buddy.
And was also taking care of her little brother, Josh. In 2006, the calls to the Florida State Department of Children and Families started. I'm going to call it DCF from now on.
Mm-hmm.
In total, there were 18 separate investigations into the Spirit family.
Man.
The allegations included virtually every type of abuse or neglect: beatings, burnings, medical neglect, poor supervision, drug abuse, abandonment, and domestic battery were among them.
God.
In one report, DCF was told the family was facing eviction and had no food. One of the boys had a broken leg in a cast. Sarah claimed he had fallen off a trampoline, but investigators questioned why the little boy would be allowed on the trampoline in the first place. DCF ruled there were, quote, no signs of abuse or neglect, even though one child had a bite mark and yellow bruises. In September of 2006, one of the kids was found wandering the neighborhood with a steak knife.
Buddy.
No. A March 2007 report said, quote, Mom uses crack cocaine, adding, quote, Mom leaves the children in drug houses.
Oh, no.
The children's paternal grandmother told an investigator that one of the boys was so hungry he hoarded food. Quote, kids should not go through this, the grandmother said, threatening to call the media if DCF refused to act. The department took Sarah's children away from her briefly in 2007, but returned them to her very quickly. In August of 2008, Dawn was arrested again, this time for aggravated battery on Sarah, who was then 38 weeks pregnant with her 4th child.
I mean, you were not kidding. This is just all of the things all the time.
All the time.
He's just a raging bastard. God.
Sarah and her children were living with Dawn at the time, and he was insisting that Sarah pay his property tax. When she refused, he ordered her to leave the home. Dawn grabbed her by the arms, shoved her against a refrigerator, and boxed her cheeks very hard and slammed her face, leaving red marks, a police report stated. Not only were the police called at this time, but DCF was also notified of the incident. DCF was told that 9-year-old Kylie had witnessed her grandfather, who stood at 6'2" and weighed 280 pounds, pushing her mom into a refrigerator and beating her about the face.
God.
DCF praised Sarah for acting to, quote, protect herself and her children. Sarah has a history of chaotic lifestyle and poor decision-making, the report said, but it added, quote, the children do not appear to be at risk.
Wait, so they show up, the granddaughter says, I watched my grandpa beat my mom, and they're like, good for you for protecting your children, but everything's fine.
Yep.
You fucking kidding me?
No, it gets worse.
Why?
I'm sorry, man. It was one of those stories I really almost stopped halfway through because it's just a lot. But I can't believe that I didn't know about this story. I'd never heard it.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
While Dawn was awaiting trial for assaulting Sarah, she made a plea to the trial judge on his behalf. Quote, my father is a good person. He just has a lot of emotional problems, she wrote. My baby brother died about 5 years ago while in my dad's custody, and that is something that he has to live with for the rest of his life. Ever since my brother died, my dad hasn't been emotionally or mentally stable. He has a lot of problems, but he would never hurt somebody intentionally. Please have mercy on my father and don't take him away from his only reason to live, she wrote, referring to her family. I forgive him for what he did. I am willing to stand by his side.
I feel like we need to give a little lesson in codependence really fast and tell people, once again, like, I know you love your family or your spouse or whomever, but it is not okay, and there is no excuse for that behavior. Zero. None. You can understand where their behavior comes from if that makes you feel better, but it is never an excuse or a justification for their actions, period. You should not be hurt by the people that are supposed to love and protect you.
Nope.
Or anybody, as a matter, as it turns out. Nobody should fucking hurt you ever.
No, not allowed. In the years that followed, Sarah struggled with legal troubles of her own and was in and out of jail. She was arrested on charges of theft, battery, and illegal drug use, and sought child support payments from the fathers of her children without much luck. A friend of Sarah's said that Sarah had a good heart, but was always struggling to support her family and keep it together.
I bet.
Yeah. Quote, her life was a mess, the friend said. She had no job. She couldn't work with all them kids. Every time I turned around, something bad was happening to her. Mm-hmm. In 2010, DCF was told that Caleb, who was a preteen at this point, had suffered a, quote, cigarette lighter burn on his neck. Several hotline calls arrived in 2012. In January, the agency was told that Kylie had to repeat kindergarten twice because of chronic head lice.
Oh, buddy, no.
In February, the agency was told that Sarah soaked 11-year-old Caleb's foot in bleach and wrapped it in tissue and duct tape after he gashed it on shards of glass. The boy didn't receive medical care until 12 days later, when a school resource officer at a school nurse's urging took the boy to a doctor.
Damn it.
You know what DCF said about it?
Nothing.
Quote, needs are being seen to with the help of others.
I don't have any words.
No. Multiple reports arrived in 2013. In February, 5-year-old Destiny arrived at school with a serious burn. Quote, the burn would have been much better if it had been treated last night, the agency was told. When interviewed by an investigator, Destiny disclosed, under the prodding from a counselor, that her mother had paddled her feet, bruising them, because she wouldn't go to bed.
I don't think that's an effective way to get a kid to go to bed.
No. The Spirit children were known to steal food because they were hungry. They would eat cereal and ramen noodles while the adults dined on meat and vegetables. One of her children nearly lost her teeth to rot. There were allegations that Don beat the children with a belt for jumping on a couch. While in his care, one child was burned by a space heater and another fractured his arm. He was heard yelling at the children and calling them names in public. Everyone in town knew that he didn't like his grandchildren.
Jesus.
Despite his own violent history against both his daughter and his children, DCF would often turn to Don Spirit for help and considered him a good support to Sarah.
What? Excuse me, what?
This is despite him being involved in 1/3 of the 18 abuse and neglect reports filed.
I just, like, full body, like, whoa, what? Like, are you, what?
Yeah, man.
How?
Comes to find out, they completely fucked this case up. I mean, clearly.
Clearly. And I guess in a town of, like, 500 people, DCF is, like, your brother or what?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Even worse still, more than a year before the shootings, a specialized team of child abuse investigators reported several of the children said they were frightened of their, quote, Papa Donnie.
This just came into my head, and it's not funny because this case is not funny, but what if DCF was like a horse or something because it was such a small town? That would explain it.
That's all they have.
Yeah, you walk up and it's like a corn cob with like googly eyes on it and a hat, and it says DCF, and like that's DCF.
I mean, I think they'd be better off at that point. At least they knew that nobody was coming to help them, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's the only way you can explain this level of like negligence.
In the final report, the health department's child protection team recommended that Dawn, quote, have no unsupervised contact with the children. That suggestion was never implemented, and he did not receive any counseling or social services. Caseworkers with a private child welfare agency threatened to take legal action against Sarah if she continued to harm her children, but the threat proved hollow, and several more abuse reports followed.
God.
Yeah, we're getting close here. Sort of. DCF offered Sarah services to improve her parenting. Only once in 2013 did she agree to accept help, but was dropped from the program as unsuccessful. Investigators closed their cases on nothing but Sarah's promise to do better. They repeatedly allowed her to refuse services or supervision that might have protected her children from future harm.
I just closed my eyes as hard as you possibly could and kind of like rolled my eyes back in my own head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
I know. I don't know either. The biggest problem DCF faced was looking at each investigation separately. They rarely, if ever, considered the long history of neglect and abuse these children were suffering from.
How is that possible, too? This is the same town, right?
Mm-hmm. They said that one of the articles I read said that that was part of the problem, is it's such a small town and it's very poor, and domestic violence and child neglect and abuse is rampant.
Yep.
And so the police and the child welfare people are just like, okay.
Yeah, it's a corn cob and a horse. Like, they don't have the resources to properly staff it.
They become so, what's the word I'm looking for?
Overwhelmed and jaded.
What's it called when you're like
desensitized? Yeah, absolutely. Right. I get it. I mean, I remember when we were growing up and there was a lot of child abuse all over the place. And we didn't know at the time that it was child abuse because it was all over the place. So...
yeah, I think
again, not a justification, but it's like if everybody's doing it, and like there was that instance you mentioned where she was like, "I promise to do better," and they were like, "Great," It's like, well, at least she's saying she's promising to do better. That mom over there is clearly cracked out of her head, not doing anything. So this is a better case scenario. So we're going to focus on that one instead. Yeah,
and we're going to talk about it a little more, but it's also a case of like DCF looking at this family of 6 children and thinking, where are we going to put them? Because that's a huge problem. Turns out in Florida, they don't have places to put children.
I know. I was just thinking, like, I really, 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 really don't want kids, but this makes me want to take kids in and protect them and help them.
Yep. Not too long before they were killed, Sarah and her children had been living in a dilapidated shack on the property of her boyfriend and a father of a few of her children. James Stewart's family. So they were living on a shack on the property that belonged to her boyfriend's family.
Right.
A couple of weeks before her murder, Sarah reportedly knocked on her friend's front door, asking for diapers for the newborn and food for the other children. With her brother Joshua and both of the fathers of her children in jail, Sarah was so down on her luck that she felt she had no choice but to return to live with her father. On September 1st, just 2 weeks before the shooting, DCF investigators received another report about the Spirit children. The report alleged they were living with adults who used drugs and in an unstable home. Quote, the adults' eyes were always half closed, the report said. The next day, a school guidance counselor for one of the children said she had paid the Spirit's electric bill so that the lights wouldn't get turned off. During the investigation, Sarah told DCF that she had been recently released from jail for violating probation by testing positive for illegal drugs. Once again, the investigators didn't look into Don's past or consider him a part of the problem, despite him being included as one of the adults in the complaint that was doing drugs in front of the children as well.
Cool. Good job.
A long notation was found in Sarah Spirit's DCF record on August 2nd, which describes a visit by DCF to the Spirit's home. They wrote that the children were, quote, well-groomed and dressed appropriately for school as they exited the bus. The children were happy to be home from school and were glad to see their mother, the note said. But that entry in the DCF's computer system, like others in the report, was not made until a day after the children were killed.
No!
Cover in their tracks.
That's not how it works, you guys. Nope.
The day before the murders, Colleen Stewart, who is Jamie Stewart's aunt, so Jamie's the dad of some of the children, Sarah's boyfriend, had been at the Spirit home for most of the day. While there, she overheard Dawn tell Sarah that, quote, her kids were not worth a shit. Tell someone to come get them because I don't love them. I hate them.
Cool. Good.
A short
stuff.
I know. A short time later, she overheard Dawn apologizing to Sarah for making the comments about her children. He said he was really stressed out because Sarah was unemployed and working as a sex worker for money. She had seen a man named Jose the 2 days leading up to her murder. She was paid a little under $100 and was supposed to give Dawn some of the money that she had earned. Dawn knew that she was meeting up with this man because she was using his phone to communicate with him. This most recent investigation into the Spirit family sat idle for 2 weeks when a new report was received. Quote, "Today the grandfather shot the 6 children and killed the mother. Then the grandfather called 911. When police arrived, the grandfather killed himself. The reason the grandfather did this is unknown."
Damn it. Damn it.
Yeah. So after the murders, the Florida Department of Children and Families acknowledged they should have done more to protect the children who were killed.
Understatement of the lifetime.
They quickly,
God.
I know, they quickly announced immediate changes to improve accountability at the agency, which has a long history of inadequate protection for the children in its care. They plan to retrain the investigators involved in the Spirit family case, and they plan to review open investigations involving children aged 3 and under in affected region of North Florida where the family lived.
Yeah, right.
Right, and not good enough.
No. Great. You're going to protect kids under the age of 3?
Right, we're going to retrain them to
Fabulous.
how to glue their googly eyes back onto their corncob heads.
See, the problem here, folks, is that the googly eye corncob's hat that we fashioned out of a bottle cap and some felt had fallen in front of his googly eyes,
So he couldn't see shit.
thus
Hold on.
obscuring his ability to do his job properly and protect these children from their father shooting them execution style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DCF eventually demoted a regional manager and an investigator supervisor who took new jobs within the department with a 50% pay cut.
I just flipped over the table.
Mm-hmm. They
Cool.
should be in jail. What
If
they did
they
was so negligent.
Still have jobs and now have less money, they are going to be mad and angry and do their jobs even worse and hurt people even more.
Yep. The director of DCF ordered the training for 1,600 child protective investigators and supervisors statewide. They increased the implementation of a process known as the, quote, Rapid Safety Feedback System, which allows quality assurance specialists to oversee a child protective investigation in real time. So I think that's supposed to be like, rather than waiting for the paper trail to come through. I don't quite understand what, I think it's just words that are supposed to sound good so that people don't get really fucking mad that this shit's happening still.
Yes. Yes.
So rapid safety feedback system sounds great when it actually doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, totally.
So in October of 2015, the family members of Sarah and her children were awarded $750,000 in a wrongful death suit against the state. I think
That's
they actually
something.
settled, but that's not enough money. It
No.
should be $750,000 per child.
Person, yes. Absolutely.
But did any of this really help? You can answer that question.
I'm going to go ahead and guess yes. It did. All the children are safe. They're well fed. This country is thriving. People have never been better. Everyone feels safe and protected and loved and cared for, and their mental health issues are being addressed at fast, effective rates. It's fucking cool.
I wish, man. So the Florida legislator ordered the DCF to be more open to scrutiny in 2015.
They ordered it. Ordered it.
Yeah, they ordered it. You better be better about criticism, you guys.
Oh man. Like
Yeah.
I want to print that out on a billboard and put it everywhere. Just put it everywhere. But that is a reality in America. The courts have to order organizations to receive criticism.
Yeah, it wasn't the
they
courts,
can't.
it was the legislator, but still, it was like a law. Now the DCF better, like,
That is the most topically American thing that I've heard in a very long
so
time.
crazy.
It's just that is the poster child for America right now. That
Yeah,
statement.
it really is. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, and this order came after a series of stories were published in the Miami Herald, which had showed that hundreds of Florida children had died in the wake of DCF's effort to emphasize the preservation of troubled families. Even as the agency cut millions of dollars from the programs designed to keep children safe.
Cool. Very awesome.
Yep. The overhaul of the state's child protection system created the critical incident rapid response teams that goes along with the fucking speedy, rapid,
Yeah, words.
fast system. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I know.
Yes.
God. Despite these changes, these overwhelmingly huge changes, Children.
Despite fast rapid times, done report.
Better,
Speedy.
better take your scrutiny more.
Despite all that, sweeping reform.
Right. Children continued to die while under the supervision of DCF. In 2018, the department was hit with a federal class action lawsuit stemming from its failure to supply enough foster home beds in the state's southern region.
Poster statement number 2. You have to sue the system. Like, this is our money going roundy, nowhere, into hell, into chaos and fucking terribleness.
Right.
Just all around and around.
Right. Meanwhile, there are children who have to go to kindergarten 2 years in a row because she can't get rid of her head lice.
God, common sense. Please, please, please. Can we infuse this beautiful nation with the modicum of fucking common sense, please?
So guess what? To solve this problem, the state's legislature is hoping to pass a law aimed at shortening the length of stay in the foster care system, which is incredibly problematic.
What do you propose that they do?
They get them out of foster care, either adopt or go back to their home.
Oh my God.
Very fast, so that there is more foster care homes available. That's how they're going to fix this problem.
What the fuck?
One of the plaintiffs in the complaint is a 5-month-old infant who had been placed in a group home since entering care in September of 2017. Group home. They put this baby in a group home.
Sadie and I worked at a group home in college. That's how we put ourselves through college. And group homes are a place for nobody, period. No. I could just conclusively make the statement that nobody should be in a group home, let alone a 5-month-old baby.
No. Yep.
Oh my God.
Another plaintiff is a 4-year-old boy with Down syndrome who has been in foster care most of his life and was placed in group homes for more than a year. 4 years old. At the time of the report, at least 30 children younger than 6 were housed in the emergency shelters and group homes, a practice that runs counter to standards of care for children according to the Children's Rights Act.
Dang, what do you do? Like, what do we even do? I'm so distraught.
I know. Florida's child welfare services are mostly run through private contracts with different regional agencies. The lead agency in the southern region is called Our Kids. It's a Miami-based provider that cares for about 3,500 children.
And it's private.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Our Kids has a history of endangering the children in its care and has an extreme foster home shortage. Children are moved from home to home frequently. The agency often places infants and toddlers in group homes and fails to provide medical, dental, and mental health services to the children in their care.
Big surprise.
Despite this, DCF has continued to pay Our Kids nearly $100 million a year.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
$100 million a fucking year.
That is so much money.
For 3,500 children.
That is Kardashian money. That is so much money.
So much money.
How many? Okay, I don't even know if I can fit that many zeros on my calculator, but I need to do the math. 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Yeah. Divided by 3,500 kids. That's $28,000 a year per child.
Right.
Which children are expensive.
Right.
But you pack them all together in these scenarios where they're being taken care of by other people. That's plenty of money.
When I was looking up like what foster families get per child, and it's something like $440 a month.
Right. So 440 times 12 is $5,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah. That is plenty of money.
Yep. Despite the huge problems facing the Department of Children and Families, the state of Florida is planning to cut $11.5 million from the Miami-Dade County's DCF budget. It seems helping children in Florida who need it the most just isn't a priority for the government there, and sadly, Florida isn't alone. This is a systemic problem that plagues the entire country.
Yep.
And I tell you what, I ran into the problem when I was researching this. I would Google like DCF problems or whatever. I was trying to look into more. It turns out that DCF is a common acronym for many states. And Vermont and New Jersey and everywhere, all of them. You read stories of this happening over and over and over. And I mean, it's just a really awful rabbit hole when you find, and this child died after the parent was reported at 77 times. And it's
yeah. A massive, massive, huge hemorrhaging fucking problem.
Yep.
This is why millions and millions of people are marching in the streets right now. Because this shit is a problem.
Yep. Big time. It's awful.
It's awful.
So, there you go, guys.
Oh my God. Well, that is a very important story. Like, extremely, extremely important story. And I'm so glad you did it, even though it's disgusting, awful, horrible, avoidable, etc.
Right. Well, it's just layers of generational abuse, neglect,
trauma,
poverty.
Yes.
Nothing justifies the murder of 6 innocent children, but there was just like decades of opportunities for somebody to come in and help this family somewhere along the line, and it just did not happen.
Right. I really do believe that it would take one generation to change that forever.
Yeah.
You know, like if resources were reallocated and even one member of that family could completely change the course of the entire family for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
You know, people have to have access to things that they need, period.
Big time.
If they have access to those things, they make better choices. They take better care of their children. Their children take better care of their children, and on and on and on.
Yep.
Period. And every once in a while, you're going to come in contact with a sociopath or a narcissist or somebody who's really dangerous and just wants to cause you harm. But I would say, 75% of people on this planet are actually really pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
At
least. I think
they're born good.
A higher percentage.
Well, they say that. I keep reading that like 25% of people are sociopaths, which kind of feels accurate, but also very, very high. So I'm conservatively estimating that 75% of people are born good. You know, they're not born like hardwired to fuck everything up. Mm-hmm. So the odds are good, you know, that if we shared a little bit more, that things would get a lot fucking better.
Yep.
Everybody deep breath. Exhale. Breathe in the negativity, churn it up, destroy it, and breathe back out. Common sense.
Kindness to others.
Kindness. Sharing. The dismantling of this fucking systems that...
Go vote. Let's make some change.
Yes. Vote. Take care. Donate, etc.
That's right. Hug your babies, man.
Oh my God! Hug your babies. Hug random babies because they
but
look
don't,
like they need it. No,
they
just go over there, scoop them right
COVID.
up, scoop them up, hug them, whether or not they're yours. It's always fine to do that, COVID or not. I was just kidding. Don't do that. I was in the subway once with my business partner James, and this single mother, you know, kind of young, was like had one of those baby car seat things in the subway, just like hustling down the fucking thing with this huge baby car seat with this baby in it, and like no end in sight, just walking, and James and I were like, can we help you, do you want us to carry your baby? And she was like, yes, please.
Yeah.
But then we just start like carrying this woman's baby away. I'm sure we look, James is like skinny and nerdy and fucking innocent looking as I am, but
we
could have very easily just whoop, see ya.
If there were ever two people in the like history of the United States or the world that I would trust to not steal my baby, it's you and James.
I know, but as soon as, like, obviously we were trying to be helpful, but as soon as I had one end of this baby carrier and James had the other, I was like, oh boy.
It sort of reminds me of, I was in the pharmacy once, waiting in the, like you do at the line of the pharmacy.
Yep.
And I had my youngest, who was an infant, he, like 6 months old, maybe old enough to like kind of support his own head. But an older man was standing behind me, and my child was like reaching for him and flirting, and that's sort of his personality anyway. And the guy just sort of like put his hands out and took my baby and just Yeah, my youngest went to him very happily, and then I sort of had the same, like, I stood there for a minute, and I turned around and I looked behind me, and they were both so happy together. I was like, okay. I mean, honestly, I was kind of uncomfortable about it, but
Yeah, it's just one of those moments you're like, and then he was trafficked, and that's the end of that horrible story.
I know, I just couldn't believe it when all of a sudden, like, from behind me, there we go, okay. And I was like, God, I would be terrible, and I would just be like, okay, baby, bye.
I know. I always want to kiss people's babies and stuff. Like, you can't kiss strangers' babies. Like, we want to so bad, they're so cute, but you can't.
Yeah.
You can't really. I'm like, I want to hold your baby, but I'm not going to ask that question.
Right.
It's creepy, ultimately.
And I was very fortunate to have two very adorable babies. But
oh my God, the very cutest babies.
But, like, so cute that random dudes are stealing them from me at the pharmacy.
It's just a friendly snatching.
It was very sweet, and he gave him right back to me, but still.
Of course. So yeah, don't hug other people's babies unless it's consensual between all parties. But
yeah, but if you do see a mom struggling, ask for help. See if she needs help. Don't ask her for help for you.
Metaphorically hug their babies. Yeah, by donating to causes and voting and fucking call your senators and shit, because this is bullshit.
Yep, it totally is. Anyway,
if
you made it this far, good job, you guys.
Good job. We love you. And we have to make a formal apology to Texas real fast.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I don't know entirely exactly why, but we got a very sweet email from a listener, and we appreciate you sending in that email, and it was very sweet and so appropriately worded, and if everybody talked to each other the way this woman did, the world would be solved probably tomorrow. She's a conservative Texan who asked us to not bash Texas, and Sadie and I talked about it, and I was like, I don't remember doing it, but we love Texas. Texas is where our first coven came from, and I will fully acknowledge that sometimes Sadie and I say shit in jest or sarcastically, and it's so in passing, that it's just our humor, our language, but we need to take responsibility for that. So if we said something shitty about Texas, we did not mean to, and we fully apologize.
Yes.
So thank you for that email, and I do not know how conservative people could continue to listen to this podcast because we are very clearly not conservative people. We do love conservative people. We come from a very conservative place. I think we made that clear, but I could not listen to the reverse version of our podcast, period. So good for you, man. That is, you are an open-minded, open-hearted person to be able to continue to listen to this podcast despite all the things that we have to say.
Right. I completely agree. Yeah. I mean, and we do love Texas, and we love our conservative brothers and sisters. We just don't agree.
Right.
And that's okay. It's so nice when people reach out with, like, worries or complaints or feedback.
Yes.
In a way that we can have a conversation, because we really do want to know what's working, and if we say something really shitty, like, by all means, tell us that hurt you so we can make amends.
Yeah, for sure. If you're being constructive or want to have a conversation, by all means, put it into it. Send it to, what is it? They will kill dick pics at gmail.com. Send it straight there. We will review it. We will respond to it. I'm just kidding. Send it to the regular one.
Yeah, do it. Because we're here.
Yeah. So thank you for that email, you sweetie pea. And one thing we need to ask our UK listeners, this is very important. Was mini pops a thing? So Sadie and I, when we were little, we got a hold of a VHS tape, which was like a compilation of kids singing popular hits. They were clearly from the UK. It was such a formative part of our childhood. Like, I can still do the dances. I could sing the songs. Like, it comes up a lot in this very specific private joke between two people because nobody else that we know has ever seen this thing.
Yeah.
But was it big in the UK? Was mini pops a big thing in the UK, and somehow we got a hold of it in the US? Or
was it not a big thing at all, and so then we somehow got a hold of it in the U.S.
Yeah. And now it remains a really specific, like, very fucking weird memory between the two of us and, like, an ongoing private joke.
But you have found it, like, somebody has taken the time to put it
Yes,
online. So
it's
I
on
assume that
YouTube.
it's not just us.
I assume so too. But it came up recently. We're like, all right, let's get to the bottom of this, because it's like one of those things that sort of haunts your life. Mm-hmm. Like this mini pops thing.
Yeah, we loved it so much. Great. It was so weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like looking back as teeny mini poppers or whatever we...
Yeah, it was cool. And
yeah, I would like think about how when I audition for mini pops, I'm gonna wear this outfit.
Exactly. Please, somebody, Louise, whoever, all of our British listeners, was that a thing?
Tell us about it.
Tell us about it. Also, we got a great email from somebody. Totally made our weeks. I mean, she touched on multiple points in the email, but I said the word tallywhacker in a recent episode, and she mentioned a neighbor who called the penis a dillywhacker, which I wanted to throw out there.
Yeah.
And also earrings are ear boppers. so funny. So if anybody's looking to expand your vocabulary, dillywhacker and ear boppers. And part of the reason I bring that up is because another listener of ours, who's like #1 fan status, mentioned, and she didn't actually bring this up as a criticism at all. It just kind of came up in correspondence that she almost didn't continue to listen to the podcast because we say GD, the GD, a lot.
The big G.
Yeah,
the
big G, little goddamn, a lot. And so I'm just going to officially try to stop saying that in her honor. I wouldn't normally do that, but this listener is such a fucking sweetheart and seriously like the most supportive person. So in your honor, you know who you are. I'm going to really start to try to say dillywhacker instead of GD or whatever else.
Dillywhacker. Dillywhacker. I'm sure I'm practicing.
Feels good, right?
Yeah.
Feels good.
I know. I forgot that I was supposed to not curt. Well, not that. Anyway, I'm wondering now. I'm looking back. Did I say that?
I thought about it halfway through this episode because it's been a few minutes since we recorded a regular episode, not a Patreon episode. And, oh no, she's a Patreon supporter too. So yeah, we got to take it across platforms.
It's probably a good thing anyway. Just no need. Oh,
I know. I always want to say the F word a little bit less, but I'm not quite there yet. Yeah. And I don't know if I really do. I just feel like maybe I could be a little bit more creative, but then I also feel like if that's just some sort of weird societal thing that I've like read on a thing on Instagram and now it's like I've internalized it and I don't need to. Fuck that. You know what? That. Now that I think about it, fuck it. Fuck it to fuck.
Well, now that our listeners have gone through our should we cuss or not brainstorm sesh, do you want to do some Patreon shout-outs?
Yes. Yes. We swear a lot more on Patreon, though, so if you're going to go over there...
I'm kind of mean on Patreon sometimes.
Yeah, we've decided that if you pay us money, we abuse you. We immediately got there with that one, so...
So come on over.
If you're like
it's warm.
If you're a sub... and you're into S&M and you're on the sub side of things, you will love our Patreon. It is spanky. It is abused, kind of like gag bally. Yeah, we will give you a little tap on your booty. Lovingly, of course.
Right. Speaking of. So, thank you to Vanessa A.
Yes.
To E, the letter E, N. And a big thank you to
Wait,
Siobhan.
that's it? E-N?
Well, yeah. The person gave us their first initial, and I'm not going to say their last name.
Oh, right. We don't do that. I forgot.
No.
Yay, E-N!
Hey, woo! And a big thank you to Siobhan N.
Yay, Siobhan, who couldn't find us in the beginning. A lot of people have had a hard time tracking us down on Patreon, including me when I'm not logged in as us. So we're going to try to get to the bottom of that. It is in a link in our bio on our Instagram. I think it's probably prominent on our website. Yep. So if you go over there and can't find us, we will try to figure that out. But in the meantime, go to Instagram, message us, whatever. Follow the link on our bio on Instagram and
don't
give
us
all your money.
That's right. Don't give up. Because that's what I would do if I got there and if I took the time to go to Patreon and Google, like search their name and it didn't pop up, I'd be like, I'll do it next time.
Yes.
But guess what, guys? Not your problem. Totally our problem. So we'll fix it.
We will. And thank you for those of you who dig to find us, because it's really nice and it really makes us feel happy and it makes us want to keep doing this. And
it allows for us to keep doing it.
And fall deeper and deeper in love with each and every one of you every single day.
Yep. Maybe by the time this airs, maybe not quite yet, but we are very close to 50,000 downloads. You sweet little sugar babies.
You are sugariest babies.
So we're going to do a giveaway.
A good one. I've already started. I don't know exactly what is going to be in it yet. I was poking around. I definitely want to continue to support Black-owned businesses. I just like how to choose is my issue I'm coming up with. So if anybody has a Black-owned business that they're like, I really want this thing from them, like in the $50 to $100 range, preferably, please go ahead and message me.
Yep.
I'm open to suggestions. You're the ones who are going to receive these goodies. So we're going to do something along those lines. My wife Laura has more art that she's thrown in the mix, and lots of other fun stuff.
That's
because
right.
You guys are worth it, and this is thrilling, and we want to keep it going.
Yeah, maybe some of our new merch that's now available.
Yes. I'm launching the merch store probably Tuesday. Oh, it's already out. So if you're listening to this, I'm going to say it's up. It's cute.
Yeah, so
it is
cute. What else?
I think that's it.
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure that's it.
Let's
We love
get
you.
out of here.
We love you, sexy people. You're attractive. You're good at life.
Yeah.
And
You're the best at life.
You're the best at life. I cannot imagine 2020 without you guys.
No,
Jesus God.
I know. I actually have thought about that a lot, that this year has just sucked. It's been so hard. You know what, though? This is the year that we started this podcast, and it is my little heart and soul. I'm on the verge of tears thinking about it. You guys are amazing.
You're amazing. And when things get really intense and stressful and I'm reading the news and I'm fucking having conversations on Facebook or whatever and I start feeling like I want to die, I'm like, I'm just going to write a story instead. And I do.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel so much better. And then one of you will message us or comment something hilarious on Instagram or whatever. And oh my God. Yeah, 2020, I think we're all going to look back and be like, that was fucking psychotically awful and hard, but all of it was necessary and it brought us all to a better place. That is my
I hope so.
manifestation for this future, because the other option is not no good.
Right. Yeah, we won't go there yet.
No. It brought us to you guys. 2020 brought you into our lives, and for that I'm forever grateful.
Me too.
We love you. And if you want to connect with us on a deeper soul level, go to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at They Will Kill. What?
I've been really trying on Twitter.
What are we up to now?
Oh, like 60 people or something. But what I've been trying to do is like actually put real posts out and talk to people. So if you have a Twitter account, will you do us a favor and just go over to They Will Kill and follow us, because it's not easy. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm really trying.
We don't get it. We hate it. We would love to embrace it.
Yeah, but I guess it's a good way to find people to listen to our show, which we would like for that to happen. So give us a help out over there.
Give us a little boosty boost.
Please.
Thank you.
Anyway, continue.
You can also find us at theywillkill.com. You can email us at theywillkillpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us your criticisms, your concerns, your deepest desires.
We're now like genies in a bottle. Rate, review, subscribe, please.
Yes, thank you so much for those of you who do. We love it.
Yep. Thank you, AJ Bergans, for your music.
Yes, big one. Thank you.
Continues to release new music. Go check him out on Spotify.
Yes. He's so talented.
Yep.
I do want a piano album, though, if you're listening, AJ. Piano album.
Sandra listens. Hey, Sandra.
Piano album. Right?
Yes.
So good.
And remember,
go watch I'll Be Gone in the Dark on HBO if you haven't. That is my advice for the week. Go just sob your way through it, because it's so good and so sad. I mean, I feel like we're all like, oh, what else could I know about the Golden State Killer? Oh, a fuck ton. And it's really about Michelle McNamara, and it's wonderful and inspiring, and just one of those stories that you're like, this is so tragic and beautiful at the same time.
Yep. And read the book if you haven't done that already, too.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's just a triumph of the goddamn human spirit, so give it a little looky, Lou. Or I don't know. That's enough of that. A watchy
woo.
A watchy woo and a looky Lou and a listeny too. Lou. Dr. Seuss is our second cousin. That wasn't apparent by that. No, for real. For real. That's our only claim to fame, our family tie to Theodore Geisel, aka Dr. Seuss, was our grandmother's cousin. So
there you go. What else? That's why we're such amazing writers.
That's what we have to attribute our genius to. We love you guys.
Talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.